I am here today with Jackie and Jessica Parry, twin sisters that make up the band Dianthus. They have just recently released their second full length record called Realms for Deco Entertainment. They are currently working on a comic book and other things to accompany the concept behind the music on Realms. And Jackie, Jessica, again, it's great to have you here.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. It's Realms. What do I say about this? This is a record. This is really something.
Thank you.
How do you describe your sound to there are a lot of people tuning in here that haven't heard your music or they've heard maybe one thing. How would you describe your overall sound?
I would describe our sound probably just a blend of a lot of the genres that we like. So
Yeah.
that's progressive rock, we got hard rock, and
Mhm.
some metal elements as well.
Do you say classical?
Classical music too.
Yes, yeah. We, uh,
Hmm.
we we grew up on classical piano. That was the first instrument we actually gravitated to was piano. So it kind of really helped us kind of have that sound.
Yeah,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
there is a lot of that on this record. There is a lot of piano, and those classical elements, which really makes it exciting to listen to. It's a swarm of different things that are coming at you in this record. It's really fun. Uh, you're both classically trained pianists.
Mhm.
Um, who gets to play the keyboard parts? Do you trade off?
We're
Yeah.
like fighting over the keyboard. Just kidding. But we actually both equally share the same amount of keyboard work.
Hmm.
And usually, like when we write a song, like it's just whoever comes up with the idea has, they record the part. So
Yeah.
it's been a pretty even amount. But yeah, we're happy to share the piano parts.
Yeah, that's great too. Now you guys are obviously sisters. You are fraternal twins, though. You're fooling everybody, though.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys look so much alike. Um, you seem to be wonderful together. Are you similar people? Do you have the same tastes and you get along? Because I have two kids about probably your age. They couldn't
Oh,
be any different.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, we enjoy a lot of the same things. And it's really cool, to have each
Mhm.
other because, Jessica will find maybe like a new band or something or like a
Yeah.
new kind of sound and, she'll kind of like turn me on to those kind of ideas like with our own band. And same with
Yeah.
me, like, we like to share our favorite bands together and,
Not just music too. Like
yeah.
we enjoy outside of music, we like to go antique shopping. Just
Uh-huh.
gets
Yeah.
our mind off of things. We love art, anything art related, going to museums. All of
Ah,
that. We like we're the same person basically. To
yeah,
answer.
that is so great to hear. That's really cool. And it's got to help with the way you write music, the way you perform, the way you record. You're on that same page all the time, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's crazy because we started learning music at the same time, so we're just kind of progressing at the same rate. And
Hmm.
Wow.
yeah, it's been a cool experience.
That's great. What was life like in the Perry house? Are your parents musicians and how involved were they?
Our mom does play piano. She plays piano a little bit, and she took lessons as a young kid too. But
Hmm.
our dad never took any music lessons, but he's still very supportive,
Uh,
they both come to shows. Like, I don't think they've ever missed a show. So
Yeah.
they're very supportive. But yeah, very
that's
musical family though. Yeah.
Hmm.
that's so important. I think to have that support system. It really helps. I've had musician friends where I went to their shows and their parents are there every single time,
Really.
and it's just so great to see. And it really helped them with personally, emotionally. They know that somebody's there for them. It's fantastic to see that and hear that. Um, your songwriting, how does that work for you guys? Do you sit down together and write, or do you come in with riffs, or how does that work exactly?
Yeah, well, for the record realms, writing that record, it kind of was like kind of like ping pong. Like we'd have, I'd have an idea, and then she would kind of riff off of that, or vice versa. She'd have a guitar part, then I'd kind of fill it in with drums. But
Hmm.
we're always writing, and we're actually still writing music right now. So actually, we like writing at the same time too, just jamming together, sitting on our instruments together. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's always different. It
Yeah,
is.
that's it's great though. Again, you guys with writing and everything on the same page and going in the same direction. That sure does help. Uh, you can't argue with the chemistry in this band, that's for sure. Um, Now you had Jinx from Black Veil Brides produce the first record, Worth Living For. Uh,
Yeah.
you had Steve Evans, Symphony X, Butcher Babies, do Realms, produce Realms. How do
Mhm.
you think Steve producing the record might have changed the sound, if at all?
Oh yeah, he
Uh-huh.
definitely had a huge part in molding the new Dianthus sound, and that came from his experience with a lot of metal bands, because
Mhm.
he's just recorded so much like heavy bands, and a lot of those heavy bands have gotten radio play too. So he has a good ear for like what sounds good,
Mhm.
and there's a sonic difference from Worth Living For to Realms because Worth Living
Yeah.
For is really busy, lots of finesse going on or ornamental stuff. And then
Yeah.
Realms is a little bit more straightforward,
Well, yeah,
right? A
another
little
thing
bit.
too, like a lot of our listeners hear like a difference from those two albums because
Hmm.
we actually did not use a click track for the first
Oh,
album.
that's yeah.
So like it's
Oh,
very fast paced, lots of raw, energy there, but we
Yeah.
kind of like calmed it down a little bit for Realms. Like there's still some quick songs in there, but it's more organized, I would say, but
Very organized, yeah.
yeah.
yeah. Well, it has a real mystic feel to it.
Oh,
It's yeah, it just holds your hand and then pulls you in. It's not as frantic. Yeah. Why not have Jenks back for to produce Realms? Was I mean, did you just want a different sound, or how did Jenks leave the picture?
Yeah, I think it was part of us trying to evolve too. I also too for Jinx, he was starting to get busier in his schedule with his band Blackful Brides and
Mhm.
all of that. So we kind of like took a little turn to find ourselves more without any other collaboration, so to speak. But
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
it would be cool to work with him again
Yeah,
though. But
he
yeah.
was a great guy. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's a great record. Slightly different, still Dianthus, I would say for sure. And it's great to have those two different records. It shows the versatility of the band for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You recorded the first record at Matt Sorum's Drax Studios. Uh,
Mhm.
where did you record this one, and how different was the experience in studio?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was super cool working at his home studio really.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was we had an engineer, Chad Schlosser, so we would see Matt Storm every now and then because it was his home studio, but
Right.
we worked directly with his engineer.
Mhm.
And Chad was really helpful too because he would help us find our sound with Matt Storm's snare drums, so I was able to pick out certain things I liked. So it was really cool. It was
Yeah,
eye-opening experience.
it was.
Yeah, cool. Do you record this Realms there as well?
Realms
No.
was yeah, no, it wasn't recorded there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a
Uh,
studio kind of nearby us though. Yeah.
okay. How does the atmosphere in a studio like that does it influence the way you perform at all? The difference in, I mean, the technology would obviously the way the sounds you can get and things like that. But I mean,
Yeah.
just the atmosphere itself. Does that influence your sound at all, you think?
I definitely think so, especially with guitars, because I tracked
Yeah.
the guitars for the record, and I think like working in a studio like we did with Steve Evans, it really helped us to kind of sort through all of the ideas we had, because in
Right.
Worth Living For we had a lot of ideas, and sometimes those guitar parts can get heard live, like sometimes they'll get buried,
Right.
but like working with Steve though, we really just thought about the best sounds, the best things to hear live. And we were
Yeah.
able to take our time with that record.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always a luxury when you have the time.
yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
that
You're
was
right.
the positive thing about COVID, I'd say, is everybody had some extra time to do these kinds of things. So
Yeah.
silver lining, maybe. If you say you write a song that you really love, you bring it to Steve, and he just can't find it. He just isn't getting it. Where does a song like that end up? Is it all for one, or do you say,
All in
Steve,
all.
just get it done?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I know because that has happened too. Like, not the song in its entirety, because he did understand what we were trying to do, but there were certain
Mhm.
parts like transitions and stuff that we would have a little bit longer instrumentals than we should have, I guess. And then we're
Mhm.
used to doing that with Worth Living For. We'd have like these longer intros and stuff and
Mhm.
transitions, and he would just, tell us to keep it simple at certain parts. At
Yeah.
first, you're like, well, I don't want to keep it simple, right? Because you're like,
Right.
I want to do something crazy.
Yeah.
And then after all, then you kind of, you're open-minded, so you kind of hear where he's coming from. And then
Mhm.
you're like, actually, yeah, I think the crowd would understand that better than all this,
Yes.
like, crazy instrumentation.
Yeah.
So it worked out. It was fair game on
Yeah,
both
we found a
sides.
happy medium.
Yeah.
And that's really great to do that as well, to have a producer to work with, because I think different producers are work differently. I need you to do this, the more commanding thing, and then there's other producers who will do what you want to do, or and you've got it to where you're all working on the thing together, and that's
Mhm.
great to hear.
Yeah.
um Tell me about the comic book. This was, I'm listening to the record and I have all these pictures going on in my head. I have so many questions about the comic book because I grew up with comic books. I love comic books.
Awesome. Yeah.
Um, this is a perfect record for that. Who gave you the idea? How involved are you with the art, the story? Yeah, just tell me about the comic book and what's coming up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's very exciting for us. Yeah, it'll be our first comic book, but
Mhm.
it all started with of course our label Deco Entertainment is super creative people, and we were
Mhm.
working with one of the reps from that label, and
Yeah, Sean.
Sean, yeah. And he kind of suggested the idea before the album was finished, because all we had was the album artwork. So
Mhm.
like, it's a kind of painterly look of us, in a kind of castle world.
Yeah.
And then it just seemed kind of cool as a complementary piece, so people could understand, the meaning of the storyline, and
Mhm.
it just seemed right.
And it'll flow with all the songs, It's just a good supplement to the
Yeah,
music. Yeah.
that's now you were involved with the writing of the story. I mean, did you have the comic book in mind when you were writing the record?
Not at all.
Not
And
at all,
it
yeah.
kind of came
Yeah,
like halfway, because we
Right.
had that luxury of, COVID having a lot of
right.
time. And yeah,
Hmm.
that's when that idea was kind of thrown at us.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Um, are you involved? I know you guys are really artistic people.
Hmm.
Are you doing any of the art yourself?
Oh, the art? No,
No.
we're actually working with a comic book artist. Yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, they have a great vision. We were able to pick which artist we liked and vibed
Uh-huh.
with. So yeah, we had that freedom to do that. So
Hmm.
That is really cool. Do you have a tentative release date on that?
tentative, probably like like springtime, I would say.
Oh, that's
So
soon. That's great.
yeah, very soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, really excited.
It's,
Late February. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's exciting for sure. Uh, Now, Dianthus is Jackie and Jessica. That's the picture we see. That is the presentation. You guys just look awesome in every picture. You
thank you.
photograph so well. Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. What about when you guys play or record? Do you have a permanent bass player, other guitar player, keyboard player while you perform and in the studio?
Actually, yeah, in the studio we have, well, it's just us and pretty much
Mm-hmm.
our producer. So this
Mm-hmm.
time around, it was just the three of us. But Jessica and I, we write all the music. We have all the parts done before we come in the studio. So
Yeah.
yeah, we break it up. Sometimes she'll do piano, I'll do piano. She does drums, backup vocals, and I'll do all the leads and guitars and stuff.
But for live,
Um,
it's
but
live. We have a full band though.
yeah, yeah, live it's a full band. It kind of has to be for metal.
Right.
But we have a session player for guitar and bass. So
Yeah.
Okay. So you bring in somebody somebody different every time, maybe, or whoever's available.
It's been pretty consistent. We've gone through a lot of bass players, as most bands have, but for now, like yeah, we have a pretty solid lineup.
Yeah,
They're not going anywhere.
for a year or two, I
It's
think
been that way for a year, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Now this is I see how young you guys are, and you have your whole life ahead of you. You have those things that can distract you from your path. Those life things, cars, boyfriends, girlfriends, marriage, that kind of thing. All kinds of houses and moving away from each other. Do you ever think about that and how that might interfere with the band?
We have been definitely thinking about that. It's been more on our radar now. So yeah, because we're in our mid-20s and it's creeping in the words of
Sure.
one of our singles. But yeah, but music is always going to be there. It's always going to be our passion. And if anything, when life kicks in, like we're thinking how we would continue the music around our life changing and getting
Yeah.
older and stuff like that.
But yeah, there's also a lot of like metal bands that have families and they're touring and they still make it happen, even though it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
But that's an inspiration to us too. Like you can still do both.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. And it is a challenge, being younger, and not established your path in life yet, maybe. But being sisters is helpful. Because you can't just say I can't stand you, go away, and that's it. You guys are kind of in this same boat, whether you like it or not.
Yeah,
We have each other all the time.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Uh, do you have a plan B? I always ask this of the younger artist. You've got this music and you're successful at this point. It's getting really successful. If the bottom falls out, which it happens, is that something you think about? Your plan B, your education and getting, something, another position in music possibly, or what if it doesn't work out? Do you ever think about that?
Yeah, we do. We definitely have something to fall back on. Even like right now, like since our band hasn't been touring a lot, we're still finishing up our schooling and stuff, and still learning a lot of music. We're teaching outside of this, so
Nice.
we do try to keep it busy. It's not like completely like just the band. We have yeah, school and stuff outside, so
Yeah.
it's always good to play it safe.
Yeah, we're taking some marketing classes because
Yeah.
we really like that too. The whole marketing aspect of not just music but any business. I think that's a
Small businesses,
good
yeah.
thing to fall back on if anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys got your heads on straight, and it's so great to hear that because that is a major part of it. I've seen a lot of bands around this for a very long time, and I've seen a lot of bands that are just great, but they fall apart just because they're not getting to people, or they don't have a presentation, or there's not a marketing base. And that's really, really important. And you guys really have that. If you go to the site, and I urge everybody to do that. Go to the website, check it out. The merch, the photos, the videos you guys are doing. It's got a look. It all has a very great marketing strategy to it. And it's just gorgeous what you guys are doing. It's really, really great.
Yeah, the website's really fun. I put together the website and sometimes I'm there for hours because I want it to look, just like I want it to represent us, well.
Good for you, because it does. It really, really does. And I've been on it for hours just looking, and it's like, wow, this is just, it's a sign of success. Whether you're successful or not, when you look at it, this is a band that is successful. They are doing wonderful things with their image. And then you listen to the music, and you're doing wonderful things there. So I don't see how you guys could go wrong. But
Appreciate that.
absolutely. Where can people find that website, and where can they reach you on social media and all that?
Yes. Yeah, that website is dianthuslive.com. And over there, you can find all these different links. You can find our merch. You can find links to our music, music videos as well. Yeah, it's all there. Yeah.
It sure is. It's a great site. Yeah, and I will have the links down below, and they can click on them. My last question for you: when you coming to see me in Chicago? I can't wait to see you. I know COVID's an issue, but are you planning a tour, perhaps?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yes.
definitely in the works, because yeah, we just released an album and the next step is to get out there and play the songs live. So, thanks for planting that bug in our ear. We're gonna put that on our list and we'll try
Uh,
to go through soon.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I can't wait to see you guys. I'd love to see you in person and shake a hand, give a hug. You guys are great. Thanks so much for stopping by. And yeah, don't forget about Chicago. Get that on the list.
We'll
For
do.
sure. Yeah, it's been a pleasure, Scott. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank
Thanks.
you so much. Dianthus, everybody, thank you. Really. Jackie, Jessica, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Have
Scott.
a
All
good
right.
rest of your day.
You too. Take care. Bye bye.
All right, bye.